So just when we thought what is it called? The Villisca Axe murder house has had its fill, we all are mistakenly wrong, especially for one individual. Welcome to Hear Some Fearsome, and let's get into today's video. So the Villisca Axe murder house in Villisca, Iowa, is a very well-known tourist attraction for ghost lovers, ghost hunters, horror lovers alike, right? And so this story is actually perfect for all of us alike. It's a pretty gruesome story, but nevertheless, it is true. So back in 1912, I believe, in which six children and two adults had their skulls bashed in. I guess I could have used different words to explain that, right? And of course it was done with an axe from a unknown person. Now, the house was actually purchased back in 1994, I believe, which, excuse me, it had to be restored since, 1912, I believe it is, from the conditions, and converted into a tourist destination. Now, I don't mind going to places that, have these eerie stories of, as they say, residual energy, and when there's a tragic death and it's before their time and it's done by somebody else. It's intriguing, it's interesting. But when it comes to children, I just think that there's where you just kind of draw the line when it comes to that. But that's just my opinion. And it's I think a lot of the times when it comes to the paranormal stuff, it's almost like, I don't want to say it has to be rated, but kind of in a way I think it does, especially when it comes to dealing with, like I said, children, and especially when it comes to death of a child, especially in this kind of manner. So basically you can go there and rent a room for $428 a night to stay in an old haunted house. And visitors always seem to report strange things happening, whether it's in their room, whether it's anywhere part of once entering the doors of this facility. And for one particular man, it was probably the worst day of his life. And so in November of 2014, the haunting took a darker turn for Robert Stephen Larson, who at the time was 37 years old, and is from Wisconsin. Now, he was a regular visitor of this place. And before this horrific incident, He recalls a man, walking down the hall with an axe, screamings of children. And still to this day, it is still going on. So his boyfriend actually found him stabbed in the chest, and apparently they were self-inflicted wounds. So of course they called 911, and Larson was brought to the hospital, and like how it's just so bizarre how you have people out there that say, okay, well, I believe, oh, I don't believe. Who in the world is going to, who's well spoken, who's educated, whatever else? Why in the world are they just gonna go somewhere and they're just gonna stab themselves? Like, who does that? Why would you want to do that? But what's even more bizarre is when he decided to inflict these wounds on him. They stated that the incident happened at 12:45 a.m., which is a little bit weird, because back in 1912, that was the same time frame that these horrible murders took place. And so even all these years later, this man still to this day will not talk about what happened to him that night. And so now we talk about, okay, well, what's going to happen after this? People think that the owner needs to be responsible for this, right? And I believe the woman's name is Martha Lynn. Now, Martha Lynn, she is the owner of the home. And yes, this incident was very upsetting to her. But it's publicity. And if it makes them and her money, then they're going to keep their doors open. And obviously, still to this day, that is exactly what is going on. So you kind of have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Would you be willing to go to this place and spend $428 a night to basically put your life up to whatever? Something that you can't even see. Well, you probably could, because when it comes to, residual energy, or when it comes to apparitions, ghosts, or whatever, they have to manifest. They manifest because they take your energy, right? Especially if they want to make themselves known. And after years and years, it's almost like practicing something, right? It's just like with them. They become better at it. They become stronger. Not only that, but you talk about, is this some type of a evil poltergeist? Because as they say, a ghost cannot do these kinds of things. It takes something that's more on the scarier side, the more evil sides of things. And that basically boils down to demons, especially if you were a bad person, which, well, this guy whoever decided to slay a whole family is just not a good person. So my question then is to you guys, would you do it? Would you pay $428 to put your life on the line, laying there in bed, you got your ghost box, or you've got your recorder, hoping that, you know, taunting it, if you will, seeing if anything happens? You know, I ask myself that question. Would I do something like that? And I don't know. I don't know. I think the circumstances would have to be a little bit different. Hell, I don't know. Maybe I would, but during the daytime. I think they would make it better that way, right? Because then I can actually say, yeah, I stayed there, you know. I slept, I got outside the bed, you know, and I did, you know, I did my 8 hours or whatever, how many hours of investigation, right? Of course, most people say no because, you know, things start to come out during the night, especially if it's something that is evil. It's the opposite of good. So it's a pretty scary, freaky story. But again, what would you do? Would you actually go? Would you do it? Leave your guys' comments and let me know, because I'm really intrigued. I really would like to know if you would do it, and if you would actually do it alone. And what would you do to entice it? What would you do to, you know, really get that sign, or some type of proof or evidence? I really would like to know, and I'm genuinely being serious about it. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. Pretty horrible story. Things are still happening as of today. And I guess all we can really say is just, yeah, eyes wide open, right? Anyways, alright guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video here on Here's Some Fearsome.